Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where women from every walk of life come together to break barriers, embrace their power, and live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Vicki McDougall, and each week we explore inspiring stories, actionable strategies, and empowering conversations to help you step into your confidence, amplify your voice, and create a life without limits. No matter where you are on your journey, this is your space to grow, thrive, and become unstoppable. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. And I'd like to introduce this beautiful lady to you all. I have just met Amy not too long ago. And when we met, we connected. And when we connected, I remember you asking me this question. And you said, I don't want to coach you, but what happened? What made you feel like you're in this now? And I had said to you, I believe in myself. I trust in myself. And I think trust is something that is a very difficult thing. So trusting myself, but believing in myself and hearing people and seeing people like you in my corner and me being in your corner and knowing that we can support each other and collaborate and build something more, even more beautiful, despite where we are in the world and what we do. Because I think everyone is put in our path for a reason, and I couldn't be happier that you were put in my path.
I mean, can I boil it down to one word and just say two words? Same, girl. Same. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Women empowering women, right? It's cliche. It's a hashtag. But
Yeah.
guess what? Cliches and hashtags become a thing because they're of value, right? Man, Vicki, when you talk about, two things. When you talk about being in each other's corner and supporting each other, I was just saying before we started recording here, your energy, your authenticity, your clarity, your vision, it just comes through in an interaction with you. And so, yes, I knew instantly that this is somebody that I wanted, yes, I would love to be on your podcast and what's next, right?
Mhm.
Love to
Yes.
connect with you. And it's that truth, it's that trust in self. That is everything, right? Without that, the rest is so shaky. So that's a huge piece of what I do is just, and that's been my journey, right? Building trust. It is scary. It is scary as shit, right?
It really
Taking
is.
those steps. But that's where the confidence comes from. And that's where the doors open and the possibility becomes clear. And, I used this line at a networking event yesterday, which sounds gross, a line in a networking event, but listen, it was actually amazing. But the answer, and I live by this, the answer to how is yes. And that comes in building trust, in connecting, trusting to connect with other women, trusting other women. I mean, can we just say that's a whole nother podcast topic, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I don't know if that was just our intro, but we
Yeah,
dove right
we
in,
nailed
girl. We
it.
dove
Nailed
right
it.
in.
And that's what I love, because even when we first met, we jumped right in and we started
Yeah.
talking before we started recording. It's like, okay, wait, let's press record
No.
so we don't miss any of the juicy stuff. Well,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
Amy, for being here
Juicy.
today. And I couldn't be happier. I was so excited to see you. Tell all of our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, Vicki, I was born in 1975. No, just kidding. Here's what matters about me. Here's for your people, for your incredible audience and your platform and your women, your people. Let me say that. What matters is I am a woman who has walked through the fire, right? Our life is just our life, right? We don't think of it as extraordinary or exceptional or whatever, but I have a lot of people tell me that my story is semi, out of the norm. I've always been someone who just decides and executes. Like I do big, scary shit and I don't have any hesitation around it. Because what we were just talking about, right? Like I've had the opportunity to build that trust. And girlfriend, let me tell you, it has been hard won, right? I have made so many mistakes. So here, my journey over the last 8 years, I discovered coaching. I discovered life coaching. I was in a 22-year marriage. I had been a foster parent for, gosh, at that point, probably 15 years, more than 50 kids through our home, my ex-husband and I. And when I talk about burnout, honey, there is no word to describe, right? So I was a nurse, mom, foster parent, And within the child welfare system, not that there's just a foster parent, but I built a whole community, right? So, support groups, mentorship, advocacy, a lot of advocacy in the community, workshops for foster parents, for social workers, I connected families. I did all the things, right? Until I couldn't, until there was about a 3-month period where it was trauma after trauma after trauma. And I found myself laying in bed one day. It was like 10 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. And I literally could not make my body move. I couldn't make my body move. I had kids to pick up. I had typically 4 or 5 kids at a time in the house, right? And one in college. But it was all I could do to get out of bed, get in the car, pick up the kids, come back, get back in the bed. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. I started exploring, asking the 2 a.m. Google searches, right? Like, what do I do? What is this? How do I
Right.
get out of this? Like,
Mhm.
what happened and what do I do next? So somehow I ended up in the coaching world as far as podcasts and books and just people that I started following. And Vicki, when I tell you it changed everything for me, when I discovered the power that we all hold internally, I was like, wait a minute. Like, I always knew I was strong. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 17. I've been on my own since. I moved to the Philippines at 19, like just all the things, right? But I didn't realize that I had all of this additional power within, right? So discovering that, and then I just went full force into learning, creating, sharing. And then it was like, wait a minute, this is my purpose now. So for 15 years, my purpose was foster care. It was creating space for those who needed it. It was making sure that everyone was seen and heard and safe,
Yep.
right? Those were my goals. Was it a shit show a lot of days? Yes. Let me just throw that in there. For any of my former children who might see this, it was a hot mess a lot of times, but it was always with love and intention. Okay. So discovered coaching, went on that journey. So then I decided, you know what? It's 2020. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm a nurse at a level 1 trauma center, working 60 to 70 hours a week. I've got 1 bio child in college, 5 here at home, 2 dogs and a husband that we no longer have a relationship. I think this is the perfect time to get a divorce. So let me do that. So I did. And let me say, it wasn't spontaneous. This was something that over the course of that 2 years that I was in the coaching space and learning all of that, I started expressing these things to my ex-husband and explaining, like, this is where I'm going. Are we going together? What's happening? Right. So let me say, it was a 2-year long intentional decision and an undoing.
Yep.
Right. So that's what took me into the coaching space, what took me into the next 5 years. Vicki, the trajectory was incredible. I became an entrepreneur. I became single. I moved across the country 3 times now. So I moved from Illinois to Charlotte to LA, back to Charlotte just 2 months ago. And I've built this business. Let me rephrase that. I am building this business with the goal of, I said foster care was who I was. This now, what we just talked about, this trust, this power, helping women discover their story and write their next best chapter. That is what I do now. It's who I am. It's what I breathe. And I think that's how we ended up connecting.
It is. And it's beautiful. It is, because listening to your story and knowing what you went through, and I mean, having foster children alone is a huge, huge thing. Because I know I had thought about that as well, because we have 4 kids. And, when the house that we bought, they had foster kids come through this house quite a bit. That's what they did. I think they only had 1 child, but the people that owned it before us, and I always said that to my husband, and he's like, no, you work too much, da, 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 right? So, but what you had said was being a foster mom was who you were. Being a stylist was who I was. I was a stylist. And then it was like, when I went through my grief and my transition, and after losing my parents, it was like, okay, but who am I? Who am I? I'm now an orphan. Like, both my parents are gone. I don't have any siblings, but I am now the head of the family, so to speak, because I'm taking care of all of the stuff. And I know what my dad's legacy is, and I want to carry that forward. So I had all these pressures, and then I didn't know who I was. So that's when coaching came for me.
Yes.
And
You know,
I
it's
learned.
interesting. We both just said, I'm so sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, 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 go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say we both just talked about who we were, and then you said discovering who I am, and that's the space that we have both come to now. It's like discovering who you are today.
Mhm.
We bring our experience and our history and the parts of us with us that we need to, but there's so much, we talk about in becoming, right? Being,
Yes,
becoming.
yes.
It's not about becoming an entire new person, but it's this constant evolution and discovery, right? I
Mhm.
talk about rediscover, reimagine, reinvent. Whatever one or more of those is appropriate for you at this time, right? But it's giving yourself permission to shed, to explore, to open up, to create and discover what's possible. I think that's the power that comes from what you just said of knowing who you were and then
Mhm.
having this clarity of like, okay, and so now today, right? Like you were mom, you were daughter, and now this is the role that you're in today. And so when we don't do a holistic examination and shift as those life circumstances shift and those seasons come and
Yep.
change, that's where we lose ourselves.
Mhm.
That's where we forget the power that we hold. And that's where we step out of the gift that we have to offer the world. So I think we're both on this journey now of showing. I work specifically with women. Let me not limit you there, but
I
showing
do as well.
people, our people. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That sign the permission slip, say
Mhm.
yes to you, and discover what's possible. And then, girlfriend, can we talk about the freaking ripple effect?
Right?
Incalculable.
It is. It is. And if we can do this, and this is what I had said to you when we first met, pardon me, you're in North Carolina. I'm in Canada. Excuse me. And that is, we're miles apart, but we can bring those miles together and we can form this worldwide change because we're standing in our power and we can show women what is possible that when they get to stand in their power and trust themselves and be in a place where there is no competition, there is
Mm.
no um, rivalry because we're all here for the same reason.
Yeah. Yes. And I did not think through this ahead of time, but we're going to go full transparency here. So
Absolutely.
we're talking about being in our power and knowing who we are and yes, and yes, and yes. And life is life,
Yeah.
right? I say, in school, if you get a 60% on a test or on an exam, like that's an F, you failed. But think about in life, if you do things differently 6 out of 10 times, you are literally changing your life.
Yeah.
So just this morning, I had this moment where like I have been going, 12, 14, 16-hour days nonstop. And I love it because it's not work, right? We love what we
Yeah.
do. But man, did I crash out this morning and had this whole like, I had to keep myself from tears, right? Like self doubt and like, I'm doing all these things, but I don't really know what's happening, right? Like I'm taking action.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to say that as a reminder that it doesn't mean that you and I are sitting here on this pedestal and we've got it all
Oh,
figured out, but it's the 60% and it's the when we do fall, we've got the band-aids and the Neosporin and the peroxide or whatever you're
that's
using to
right.
clean yourself up
That's right.
and take the next step.
And the
So let me
power
just throw that
in
out.
having, and I love that you said that because no, we're not. We're not sitting above anybody else. We're all the same. And, but the difference is surrounding yourself with women who you can trust and you can know that believe in you that, you know what, I can call Amy and say, okay, I'm having a moment. I need a committed listener and I just need to vent because
Mm.
coaches help coaches, but we help everyone. We want to, and I have a coach, you have a coach, we are, and
Multiple.
this is what we do together to show the world that what is possible. Because if we can, all of the things that you've gone through in your past have led you here, but your journey is all of it's a part of the journey. There is no destination. That's why when you get up every day, yes, you can go 16 hours, but there is also that balance of today your body said, Amy,
Yep.
you need to stop for a minute and you need to realign and check in, because that's what, but you have the power to listen now. I have the power to
Correct.
listen now. I never had that
Correct.
power before because I didn't know what listening even meant.
Excellent point. There's a couple directions I want to go there. Number one, let's back up just a little bit. We talk about having this connection and building this tribe, this circle, this network, women supporting women. And as a coach, I'm going to take this quote from Stacey Bayman. So, we go first, we go often, we go with purpose. I do hard shit. Like I do big shit. I do hard shit because I want to learn how to navigate that. Like, okay, I know how to manage my mind and nurture my nervous system on a Thursday morning at 9 a.m. when I'm getting ready and falling apart. But in the past, like I said, in the past 5 years, I've had 3 solo cross country moves. It's really hard to maintain a circle and have people that you can have in real life relationships with. So I'm back in North Carolina now after having lived in LA in 25. I've been here for 2 months. I am, I talk about 12, 14, 16-hour days because I'm pouring a lot into going to networking events and doing things like
Mhm.
this so that, yes, personally and professionally, and to further my mission and to touch, to connect with other women with the goal of teaching what I know, but also just to meet incredible people like you. So let me just say that for the woman who's sitting here listening, thinking, that sounds great. I just moved here. I don't know anyone. I have a hard
Yeah.
time maintaining connections. I have 3 babies at home. I just lost my partner. Like, how do I do that? Just just come to this space. Reach out to Vicki,
Yeah.
reach out to me, find the
Yeah.
connections. We met in a Facebook group,
Yes.
right? So
Absolutely.
social media is not all negative. There are some
No.
beautiful
No.
connections, but to be intentional and to invest that energy because it is priceless. The partnerships will come and go, the marriages, we don't want to put all the responsibility for our entire well-being on one relationship either. So I think that just as important as doing this work internally is building that connection. And as you build that self-trust and as you know who you are and as you write your story, you're going to attract the people that are intended for you in that season, and B, develop the confidence and the trust in yourself to draw in the right people and make those connections.
Yes, and I think that's very important what you just said about when you start becoming aligned with who you are and what you really want, those people will align with you. I hear a lot of the times on social media, like, oh, like and follow. But I'm not just liking and following everyone unless I have a connection, because I don't want that. And I don't want that for me. I don't, yes, it's all important. The numbers, all of these things are very important. And I get that. But the alignment is important to me. The alignment, the connection, because we can all like and follow thousands of people a day. We can. They can do the same with us. But if I don't have, like, I follow you because you light me up. What you share and the things that you
Mhm.
say are things that I want people to hear. So I'm going to share, and there's one beautiful, I just released a podcast today with the beautiful Ronnie Barber, and I just love her. And she's from Ohio. And she's like
I heard it.
3.5 hours from me. And I said, okay. So she goes, it's a Jeep trip. I'm coming. Right. Because we can connect. We can do more in the world now together. I can go there and help people that she knows. She can come here and give to, right. And it
Yeah.
was because of a connection and an alignment as well. And I think that that is key. And I think that we get afraid of the number game or well, I don't have a tribe. You don't have to have 1,000 people. It can be one.
No.
It can be one person, because when you align with that one person, I'm going to open doors for you. You're going to open doors for me, which means not just business. It means connection. It means authentic connection. And I think that that
Mhm.
is something to be said for why we do what we do for women, because we want them to realize what is possible and what connections they have and what they can create for themselves.
Yes. Yeah. And it can be a new space for a lot of people. I talk about how trauma creates hyper independence. And girlfriend, let me tell you, if there's ever been a hyper independent human walking this planet, you're looking right at her. Okay. And so to be able to, so building these connections and building that social equity, right, is a newer space for me. Newer meaning, I've shifted from it being a common space where we all had kids together, we were all in the same agency, we're all right, to where it's now I'm a solopreneur and I move across the country frequently. It's a little I don't have that circle, right? So to also encourage women to trust yourself that it's going to be okay. There will be mistakes made. There will be connections that fail, but every rep that you get in is just you expanding your capacity and coming across those connections that will be life-changing for you, life-changing for them. And it is re-energizing. It's very stabilizing. Having this conversation with you today just kind of normalizes some of the spiraling that wanted to happen this morning, right?
Right?
Also, let's say perimenopause doesn't help.
No,
and,
absolutely. Absolutely.
but yes.
You're navigating quite a
So
few different things.
yes, welcome to midlife. It's great.
Yeah.
But just to say thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for the connections. And I hope that as women hear this conversation, it's permission. It's permission to do it messy. It's permission to do it scared. It's permission to know that there's going to be mishaps and bumps, but damn, it's worth it.
It
It's so
is.
worth it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not a straight line journey, right? And you come to places where it's like this fork in the road, but you have the power to make the choice. And if you choose to go left and it's not working, guess what? You can go right. There is nothing written like in the sand that says you have to stop here. This is all you get, because we are given things that teach us all the time. The lessons are there. And once you learn that lesson, you evolve, you get to spread your wings even more. And then more people are brought to you and you get to learn more lessons. But trusting in yourself is the key, I think, that we started with this conversation, and circling back.
Yes.
That is the foundation. Like you said before, once you do, the foundation is built and then you get to
Yeah.
grow from.
And so then, I can remember I started this conversation saying like the how do you start to build this self-trust, right? Like, and we work with highly successful women who have curated lives that look and are incredible. But you talk about alignment, right? We have seasons, we have growth, we have evolutions, we have transformation. And so it's doing that exploration and that, inner work, that self-assessment, and knowing who you are today to be able to trust yourself to take these actions. It's not inherent. It's not just like, well, I'm 50 now, so 50 is going to be fabulous and I'm going to wake up tomorrow. It's getting the reps in, but knowing that there are spaces, there are people, there are experts. We sit in these chairs. I don't know if I want to call myself an expert. I'm an expert in my own experience. I have a
Absolutely.
ridiculous amount of certifications, but what I can be an expert in is showing you the mirror, right? Understanding
Yeah.
how your patterns, your thoughts, your behaviors, your history, and how sometimes nothing's gone wrong. This is where you are. There's so much gold to be mined right here. Let's do that. And then we work on building, the rest of the foundation. So just a reminder to everyone listening, I think we have two themes here: the trust
Yes.
and trusting that it's going to be messy and imperfect and it's supposed to be. And yes, just keep saying yes. Just keep
Yes.
showing up.
Yes. Yes. Even when Thursday morning you don't want to. Even when you're thinking, I don't know if I want to do this today. Okay, listen to that. Sometimes we get to say, you know what? I need a personal day. I need to just take on me today and listen to me and allow myself that time, whether it's to read a book, whether it's to have a nice bath, whatever it is. You get to choose that, and it's okay. We're not always up here. Like you said, you
Correct.
go, go, go. But this morning you were like, oh, I need to stop for a minute. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
And that's
recognize
part of the
that.
work too.
Yes. And you don't beat yourself up for that. That's what's important too, because girl, I know that I did that when you know, my parents passing. And then this summer, I hit a
Mm,
wall and I was like, what is happening? Why am I feeling like this? I didn't like my husband. I didn't like anyone. I didn't like me. I was
yeah.
in this place of who am I and what am I doing? And it took me time. It took me clarity. It took me asking myself the
Mhm.
hard questions. Are you happy with where you are? Do you want to, what is your, like, what are you wanting to do? And then the clarity start coming and I'm like, okay, so I am doing, and then it all started coming together again. That I
Yeah.
allowed myself
Yeah.
to feel my feelings, sit in my shit for a few minutes. Do you know what I mean? Whether it was a week, a day, a month, whatever it is that you need, realize that yes, I still had to take on the things that I had committed to, but I did step back from saying yes to everyone else and I started saying yes to me to
You
realize what
signed your own permission slip.
I did. I did. I did. And it
Yeah.
changed. It did change me. And of course, I had my
Yes.
coach. I had support. I had beautiful support.
Girl.
And that's the only way to get through things is with the support. And it can be one person, it can be 10, it can be a tribe, whatever it is. But know that as a woman listening to this, if you are alone, if you have just moved somewhere, or if you're, newly separated, whatever it is, if you're alone, you're never alone. You're never alone.
Yes. Signing that permission slip and the trust that you're going to have your own back no matter what. You just said that, like, I'm
Yes.
not going to beat myself up. That that's the foundation for the foundation of the
Yes.
self-trust. Because if our brain knows, like, no, I'm not going to make a decision because every time I make a decision and it doesn't turn out exactly like I wanted, I treat myself like trash. Of course, you're going to spin an indecision and have the energy drain of like second guessing constantly, or just
Yes.
not even making the decision at all, which of
Yes.
course is a decision. So, signing your permission slip, letting it be messy, showing up for you, and just deciding, we are the only ones that are with ourselves from our first breath until our last. No one else
Yes.
ever
Yes.
has or will have our experience. So, to not really pour into that relationship, it just doesn't even make sense. And
No.
yet, how many of us actually stop and think about that? I didn't stop and think about that until someone else taught me at in my early 40s, Vicki. Let's
Yes. I
save
was
some
in my
other
50s.
women.
I hear you.
Yes.
I hear
Let's
you.
save them a couple decades, right? Like,
Yes.
this
Yes.
is what it's about.
Absolutely.
And there's
And
a lot
and
of cultural conditioning to be undone
yes.
there, a lot of deconstruction and reconstruction and releasing and rewriting. And that's kind of why I say, my signature program is the Reinvention Blueprint. And I talk about writing your next best chapter. Sounds cute, but for real. Like, that's
Yeah.
what we do.
Yes. And I do a 90-day challenge to fill your own cup, learning how
Ooh.
to listen to yourself, learning how to look at yourself in that mirror, learning how to set boundaries for yourself that show you what your worth is, because without boundaries, nothing works. To go
Mhm.
back to your experiences and then realize what your perception is now because you've been clouded by those experiences, and giving yourself that permission to be the person that you choose to be. It isn't easy. It's work. And I have I have a meeting tonight. We go every Thursday, and one of the girls had reached out and said, I'm really having a problem with boundaries. I said, that's because you've never in your 50 plus years had any. It's okay.
Mm. We
It's
got to get
okay.
those reps in. We got to start with the 2-pound little hand
That's
weight.
right. That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right. So you know what?
Yeah.
One of the boundaries can be for yourself, just for you. What boundary do you want to set for you? Not for anyone else, not for any other
Mhm.
relationships you have. But if we don't even have boundaries with our own selves by allowing ourselves to say yes, like you just did to you
Mhm.
first. And sometimes
Mhm.
that first step into even sitting in a room with other women in a challenge or in a journey or anything isn't easy because you feel like you're being judged. But let me tell you, everyone has their own shit. Everyone
Of
in this
course.
world has shit. And no one in my programs are judging, because I make sure that this is a safe place, this container that you get to
Yes.
sit in, and you're not
Absolutely.
judged.
I always say I am an inherent rule breaker. Give me a rule, and the purpose of it is for me to figure out why it's wrong.
Yes.
But I do have one rule in my spaces, and that is that it is a space of observation without judgment. And that's not even about us judging each other. It's about this, you
Judging
judging you,
yourself.
right? Like just
Yes.
get curious. And that's the work that we do. You know, we've said it here. We hold the power. We have everything that we need inside. But man, when we have someone who's spent literally thousands of hours thinking this through, learning from other thought leaders, developing these frameworks and showing the results, you know, with client after client in space after space, that's what allows you to hit that trajectory. It's more effective, it's more efficient. You go from, you're still going to spiral, life will still life, but you can come back. It took me literally minutes to bring myself back this morning, Vicki. And there was a time when that would have been, who knows, days for sure, probably
Yep.
beyond. And it would have
Yep.
resulted in lots of self sabotaging behaviors.
Mhm.
It's just life changing. And it's so simple and it's available to and accessible by every single one of us. So
That's right.
there's my soapbox.
I love it. I love it because I know that, you know what, when you know, when you talk to someone who is authentic and real and and vulnerable and raw, because you feel it in the energy between two people. And energy is a huge thing. And I think that we don't give ourselves the credit when we feel something. Sometimes we don't give ourselves a credit because we don't understand what that energy is doing. But being around people with the energy like you have, like I have, and being able to bring it to light and show people that it is possible, that's the first step. Listening to this podcast and being able to see that, you know what, Amy can help you, Vicki can help you. And if we can't, we will find someone that can, because
Absolutely.
no one is alone. Like, and if you
No one is
don't
alone.
have that trust yet in yourself, it's okay. You will get there. You will.
You know, you talk about energy. It just came up, this most incredible experience of energy that I've had. I have a daughter. She's 27 now. She's such a badass. She's an amazing human, but she went through a horrific attack and subsequent hospital stay, emergency craniotomy, just lots. It was pretty devastating. But you talk about energy and the power. So the point of this is she did the pre-work for life. So she was 24, I think this happened in 22. So 24, I think 23 maybe when this happened. And she had daily practices of, the first thing she did when she opened her eyes every morning was name 3 things that she was thankful for. She prioritized things like yoga and working out, yeah, for the physical benefits, but because she knew the mental health and the groundedness. Daily journaling, very strong boundaries, the most badass boundaries I've ever seen, and not harsh, right? But just
Right.
very supportive. So she's laying in the hospital bed days after this happened, and I mean, she can't walk at this point. She's having horrific seizures and just constant pain and nausea. She can't eat, she can't open her eyes. And the room's filled with physical therapists and the nurse and the surgeon and the anesthesiologist. Like everybody's in the room, right? Buzzing, doing their thing, charting, fixing the IV, whatever, getting the walker ready for her. And she opens her eyes and she was like, yo, just so y'all know, you can't keep a bad bitch down. And I thought, like, literally the energy in the room, it was just like, wait, what? And that all came from this pre work for life that she did, right. She had the foundation of self-trust. She had no idea if she was going to walk again, if this constant vomiting and horrific pain was going to be the rest of her life. But she knew that no matter what, she was going to have her own back. And she was so connected to herself. The point being, we all have that available to us. And when we build it, life can keep lifing, but we are going to eventually ride the wave and sail off in the sunset. It's just an incredible strength.
It is. It is an
Yeah.
incredible, but again, she had that. She chose those things for herself first.
Yeah. Yeah.
She really
Yeah. And
did.
at her age, you know, I mean, it was
That's young.
it's young, but you know, shout out to the 20, 30 somethings. They've got a lot of stuff
Absolutely.
figured out that we, Vicki, didn't until we were
Yeah,
40 and 50. And I think
that's
it's access. A huge piece of it, right, is access
yeah.
via social. Like we couldn't have these conversations 20 years ago.
No,
We would have
no,
never connected to each other,
no,
right?
no, no.
So no shame in our game, but also shout out to the women who are doing it
That's right.
at
And I
20.
love that.
Yeah.
I did want to share really quickly. I know about my daughter too. I have 4 kids, and my third child, my daughter, she she held on to a lot of stuff from her childhood, my ex-husband, whatever. Things happened. I had cancer. She was away at college. She had, in each one of each, as you well know, everyone handles things differently. And because of where they are in their age and where they were in their life when things happened to their mom or their grandparents, they all take things differently. But my daughter was, kind of she was bullied when she was younger as well. But my daughter had gained a lot of weight over these last, probably since college. And she has 2 kids. Her last child, she was very sick with. She had blood clots. She was like, we didn't know if she was going to survive. She had gotten married before she got pregnant with her second child. And we had the wedding here, and it was absolutely beautiful. So 2 years ago, she said to me, Mom, I'm going to have weight loss surgery. And I said, okay, let's look at, like, I want to know. And I looked everything up. I read about it. We decided we were going to Toronto where they specialize in this. It was a year ago. No, it wasn't. It'll be a year in July. So in 6 months, she's lost 150 pounds, and she is standing for herself. Her relationship with everyone has changed, and it's better. Her relationship with herself is better. She sought a coach. Her coach just said to me today, she only needed 4 sessions. Your daughter takes everything on with velocity like you did when I first started coaching you.
Mm.
She said she does the work. That is the key. You have to believe in yourself and take on the action to the intention. Because if not, you're not going to make changes in your life. So, like you
Yes.
said with your daughter, all of those things, she did actions. She meditated, she journaled, she did yoga, and she did work out, all to keep her strength and her grounding. That's what she chose. My daughter is doing the same, and I see a difference in her relationship with her husband, in the relationship with her children, her sister, her brothers, everything, because she shows up for her first.
Mhm.
And I
She has
couldn't.
signed her permission slip.
That's right. And I share this because when you shared about your daughter, I could see it all happening. And when my daughter was in the hospital with the blood clots and everything, her mindset wasn't where it is today. And her belief was different. And honestly, not knowing if we were going to have her or not, she
Mm.
that switched her. That I'm here. I have children. I'm going to be here for my kids, and I'm going to be here for me and love who I am and what I've created. And I'm like, girl, she's a badass. And I said that. And I said, you're coming on the podcast. Would you do that? She goes, absolutely. I want people to hear, and I want people to know what's possible. And I'm like, I love it.
Incredible. Yeah. And, we talked about ripple effect. Her
Yes.
children, everyone who's going to hear her podcast episode,
Yes.
I can see on your face how it has impacted you,
It
right?
has. It
That
has.
Here's another mantra I live by. When one woman chooses to heal and step into her power, the world becomes a better place for us all. Not that it is that woman's responsibility to make the world a better place for us all, but girlfriend, the energy, the frequency changes
That's right.
and it is different. It is a
It is.
different planet. That is why we do what we do.
That's right. And it's one woman at a time. And if one woman
Yeah.
hears this and, reaches out or has a shift or whatever, that's what we're doing this for. We can't,
Yes.
it's not possible for us to change everyone, but we can help and cause the ripple effect on a bigger scale the more we connect with like-minded women and show what's possible. And I believe that.
You know what? I feel like this has just been the most energizing time and space. Literally,
Yeah.
my soul, like there's no knot left in the solar plexus. Like this,
Yeah.
this is life. This is women supporting women. This is what happens when we just choose to say yes. So thank you for your yes.
And thank you
Incredible.
for your yes. I'm so happy that you
Yeah.
said yes to my post and you did come on my podcast and we got to connect. And I look forward to the future with you. I really do, and
Me as well.
seeing what's possible and what we can do to change things for people. I love it. Thank
Me
you.
as well. I do have just a quick offer for anyone in your audience. I have two offers. One, I've done a couple free workshops lately, and they've been they've been pretty powerful, honestly. So I would love to offer the free replay, and there's like workbooks, worksheets that go along with each
Awesome.
one. So one is Beyond the Vision Board: 3 Steps to Creating Inevitable Success. Because
Yes.
welcome to the new year, right? And then the one I just did this past week was Dating After Divorce: How to Know If You're Really Ready. That one was super powerful. So I'll send those links to you, and then if anybody wants to grab them, they can grab them.
Absolutely. That's perfect. Yep. Everything
Okay.
will be in the show notes. And I thank you again, Amy, for being here. And again, I can see us collaborating on many more things in the future. So thank you.
You're
Thanks.
incredible, Vicki. Thanks for letting me in
Thank
your
you.
space.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for listening today. And I hope you got at least one nugget from our conversation today, because I know that my soul is full and I feel amazing, as does Amy. And we thank you everyone for listening. So until next time, we'll see you again. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your power is limitless. If you love today's conversation, subscribe, share it with the women in your life, and leave a review to help more women discover their unstoppable selves. I'm Vicki McDougall, and I'll see you in the next episode, because your journey to unstoppable starts now.